We're going to start with the sales piece, then we'll move into the dispatch and scheduling, and then we will move into our field reps out in the field, and then we'll wrap up things with reporting. So right now, I'm in my configurable homepage as a sales rep. And the reason why I say that it's configurable is because as I log in, the information on the screen is tailored to me as a sales rep to increase my productivity. Now, before I dive in deeper into explaining what's on the screen, I like to give just a quick tour of what we're looking at. So at the very top of the screen, I have my navigation bar. This is how I move seamlessly throughout this application and how I access information. I know we talked about in Discovery that right now there's different technology. So there's Whirlwind, there's Dispatcher. And so we have everyone living on different platforms. And that makes it a little bit harder to have the visibility we need, but also the teams working together and collaborating. Right down below, I have my real-time insights from data. And then on the right-hand side of the screen, I have today's task and events. So one of the first things that I come in to do as a sales rep is I'm just ingesting the real-time KPIs that I have just to let me know about my book of business and how I'm doing. One of the other things that I'll do is I'll look at my task to see what do I have to knock out today? Like, how can I best align with the business priorities and objectives? And as you can see, I have a new lead that I need to dig into to just understand better how to qualify them. Like, what do they need from us? How can we best service them? Now, what's important about the lead being on the homepage is that it was actually routed to me. So whether that lead is our B2C customer and they're filling out a form on our website, or they're a B2B customer, that could still be routed to me as a sales rep so that I can assist them as quickly as possible. So with that being said, I'm going to dig into this lead just to show you how I would help Darla, who's interested in our products here. So as you can see at the very top, I have highlighted information just to quickly let me know just the lead source, the phone number, and the email. And right down below, I have this path that is able to track me and Darla's conversations so that I'm never lost on the conversation. Or if Darla takes a minute to respond to me, let's say maybe she takes a couple of days, I never lose track of where we're at. Now, right down below, I have all the details of which I'm able to capture from Darla, her interests regarding our products and what she would be looking for. And the reason why that's important to me is because the information that I collect here on the screen is information that we can use in the future with our reporting and our analytics so that we have more of a story at the end of the day of like how to better service our leads, what they're interested in. All of that information helps. On the right-hand side, I have the activity. So each and every time I reach out to Darla, I'm able to track every email, every call, right here in this single pane of view. And what that allows me to do is to gauge my interactions with Darla to make sure that I'm not under communicating or over communicating. Because I talked about before that we can integrate Google email, I'm able to send the email from this screen as well. So when clicking into the envelope, instead of writing out this long message to Darla, I'm able to utilize templates. And so I can just have a first touch with her just to get some more information. Now, if you notice that I have these merge fields right here, this makes my life a lot simpler as a rep because it plucks the information from the left-hand side, the details that I just showed you, and puts it into the email so that Darla gets this personalized message. And it doesn't feel very robotic, right? It really speaks our language as a company. Mm-hmm. So you see, as I send that there, it will be added to the activity. And again, we can report on that in the future as well. So with that being said, I like to transition to the account where we can see the full customer 360. So going into the account at the top of the navigation bar, I'm able to see all of the accounts that I have. In order to help me work better and more efficiently, I'm able to segment all of the accounts. So notice how I've created these different lists beforehand where I have enterprise accounts versus small accounts or big accounts, but I'm able to segment and really tailor my focus. So here right now, I'm going to dig into the Lauren Bailey account and just get that full customer 360. What's her journey with us? As you can see, we have details on her, but I want to know about her past sale history. So here I can see all the orders that she's placed with us and the current opportunities that we're working on with Lauren Bailey, which we'll dig a little bit deeper into in just momentarily. But before we do, I want to show you the service aspect as well. we're able to see the cases that Lauren has put in. So based off her orders, I can see what issues that she has with certain products, or if she just needs something to be installed or repaired, or she had a question. I'm able to capture all of that information within one place, so I know how to better service Lauren Bailey and really increase customer satisfaction, right? I don't want to call Lauren Bailey and not know about the case that she put in or the order that she purchased with us last month, right? I want to make her feel like her business with us is valuable. So with that being said, I'm going to dig into one of the opportunities here. So recently, Lauren Bailey has purchased a dryer with us. And so we're able to track that process of the dryer and see exactly when she purchased it, along with the details. And after this is closed successfully, what happens in the back end is that a work order is created. So once that work order is created, it's going to be routed to our dispatcher. So our dispatcher is going to be able to open up this particular work order and see all the details related to Lauren Bailey and the case she put in about, or Lauren Bailey and the opportunity of the dryer that she bought. And then a work order is going to be created for the installation of that particular dryer. And so, yeah, we could create another opportunity. And then what would happen as a dispatcher, I would come in and I would look at the particular work order and I would see the subject line and just the status. So I understand the complete work cycle of the work order. And then the next thing I would do is I would look on the left-hand side to see the asset details. So here we have the Samsung dryer. And to your point, David, we could, then also have the washer as an asset here, so that as a dispatcher, I have the full context of what this work order consists of. And then down below, I can see the products required, which I know something we talked about in Discovery that was super important was the ability to understand the inventory of the products needed for the technicians. And so here's where we can have that connection with Whirlwind or your ERP system or whatever system houses your inventory, so that we can have real-time updates into what tools are readily available for this particular work order. Another thing that I would do as a dispatcher is I would look here on the right-hand side and I would be paying attention to my milestones. I know we talked about it briefly in Discovery about maybe that being like a future state, but this is how I would be able to monitor just the KPIs with how fast or how quickly I should be responding to a work order as a dispatcher. So it just kind of gives me some idea of if I'm moving too fast or moving too slow. Right down below, part of my job as a dispatcher is also to set the technicians up for success. And so for this particular work order, we know that we have to install a dryer, but to give the technicians just a little bit more foundation or just grounding into like what should be done for this particular task, they can see their work plan. And so they'd be able to see that these are the things that are expected of them to be done with this particular work type, as well as the work order instructions. And so what's nice about this is that we'll see this in the mobile application from the field tech's perspective, but as they are checking off that list of that work plan, because they're on the same platform, there's real-time updates. And so you would be able to see this as a dispatcher that these things are completed in real time. Right down below, like I know we talked about your technicians being really they're seasoned, they're trained very, very well. And so they typically know what to do at a site. But for those techs that are new, right, that we're training, what could be helpful is providing them just some instructions or some more context into how to do a particular repair or installation. And so as a dispatcher, I have the ability to attach knowledge articles that give a little bit more granularity into what should be done when they're out in the field. So coming back down to the center of the screen here, I just wanted to again talk about the details, because the details are important here because it shows how right now I'm in the field service console app as a dispatcher, and previously we saw me in the sales cloud application. And what's really important is that the information, because it's on the same platform, everything's related. So as a dispatcher, I can see all the activity, all the information that our sales rep has inputted. So for instance, I can see Lauren Bailey's account. when hovering over it. I can see the case information that we saw in Sales Cloud. I can see the opportunity that we talked about that was closed. And so here's where we can attach the opportunity to the work order. So I have all the full picture of this work order from sales all the way up until actual field service. So with that being said, now that I have all this information, as far as like the work type, we know that it's a dryer installation. I'm now going to leverage the information and book an appointment. So the appointment is going to take into effect that we have certain assets, the certain products required, and it's going to also look at our calendar, and we're going to be able to get the appointments. And based off that, there should be golden slots. So that means it's the most ideal or recommended time that this particular service will be a good time to be scheduled. And so because it's really interactive and pretty easy, it's just a matter of me just clicking into the time slot that works best. And so you'll see momentarily how it is scheduled. I remember in Discovery, it seemed like things were very, I think to use your words, clunky and very manual. It's hard to make changes. It sounded like it was hard to even validate that all the information was correct. Based off what I'm showing here is that we can relate information. We can make it easy to cross-reference and see the asset details and the work plans and easily be able to book an appointment all within one screen so that we're not toggling between different things or maybe creating a huge bottleneck of having to undo something, and maybe that takes precious time away from actually getting out to the customer. With that being said, I'm going to show you the other way that our dispatcher can schedule based off technician availability. So this here is a very visual way, which personally I love. I'm a visual learner. But as a dispatcher, I could come in and instantly see all the technicians I have right here and what territory they fall into, as well as right here in the middle of the screen, it's color coordinated based off the status of the appointment. So green would be completed, yellow would be in progress, where we have yellow would be scheduled and pink would be in progress. And so what this helps me do is to make sure that all of my technicians are utilized appropriately. So they're not underutilized or overutilized, and I can keep track of my utilization right here. Now the black lines, what that signifies is that's the travel time. So I'm even putting that into the schedule or baking that into the schedule as well to make sure that our technicians arrive on time to our customers, which again increases our customer satisfaction, making sure that no one's late to an appointment. And right here on the left-hand side, they could all manage different types of appointments. They could do, you could create many different lists of many different types of appointments. They could come in and they would all be able to work without interfering with anybody's scheduling.
Okay.
Let's say I wanted to work in the map view, I could see it from a geographical standpoint of, where are the appointments, how are they completed? Are they in progress? And what's nice about that is just the ability to hover or click into the appointment itself, and I could see it. I could see when it's scheduled, when it ends. And something that you mentioned to me that could be hard in today is just rescheduling, right? What if that customer is not there? What if, something happens? Well, the dispatcher has the ability to easily click a button and be able to reschedule it. So going back to the Gantt chart itself, I just wanted to talk about the other capabilities here. And so as a dispatcher, I'm working on this Monday and seeing the appointments, but I do have the ability to also see, 2-3 days out at a time too. So I have that flexibility to really tailor this view in a way that's going to help me schedule the appointments best. So after the dispatcher successfully schedules for, Alan Reed, right, just by clicking on one of the service appointments and just being able to click it and drop down and schedule it to one of our technicians that's available. The next part that we're going to look at is how Alan Reed as a technician is able to see that on his mobile device.
Okay.
So right now, Alan Reed is in his truck, and this is him. Now I'm Alan Reed, and I'm a technician. And one of the first things that I'll do in my truck is I'm going to look at my schedule. And so because I'm on the same platform, again, I've information or access to information that we've seen previously. And so I'm able to get a good overview of this particular work order and what time that I should be there for this particular appointment. As you can see, I have the contact Lauren Bailey here. So if I do need to reach out to her, as a customer, I have her at my fingertips, and then I can see her asset of what she's purchased, right? It's the Samsung dryer that I need to do. So the next thing that I would do is I would press my actions, and you notice here how I'm able to press en route. And what that would do is that would route me to Lauren Bailey's location where I would be installing this dryer. And it would also give the dispatcher a notification that I'm on my way, as well as the customer. Okay. So now let's say I've pulled up at Lauren Bailey's front door. And before I step in there, I want to make sure that I'm reviewing all the information. So I see the work plan. I see exactly what I need to accomplish inside of her home, right? So I'm doing this in my car to make sure that I'm prepped and that I'm ready. And as soon as I feel, like I'm refreshed on the details, I'm able to click check in. And so what that does is that automatically notifies the dispatcher that I have checked in at this particular location. They would be able to see that on their instance that I just showed. And so they would know exactly where I'm at with the particular project. And let's say, we gave them that power to price things on site. They're able to get all of that information. And so we have it, in this application, which is also on the platform. What we could do to kind of wrap up the job is going to the actions, and I would be able to create a service report. So let me show you that. So we'd be able to create this service document, and here it would lay out everything that we did for Lauren Bailey. So this is kind of like that PDF, pricing things out, where we could also get the signature from the customer as well. So all of this information will live in that workflow. All the pictures will live on the platform. So Dave, you asked a really good question about the past work orders. Well, we would have all that information stored in one place. And so at any point in time, we could reflect on it, or if we need to better structure our business processes based off our past work orders and information, we could. Okay. But with that being said, that is the end of my demonstration, just showing how all the information, because we're on the same platform, is related. That tech has access to it. Just like the feed Mary Margaret mentioned before, I'm able to communicate with my team. I'm able to see my scheduled job. My dispatcher is able to be lockstep with me because we're on the same platform. So if I do need to reschedule, it's as easy as pressing a button for them and just looking at my capacity and rescheduling. Also, all the way from the service or the sales part and the service, I'm able to see all the past cases. As a sales rep, I'm able to complete the order. I can basically make sure that everybody has the information that they need so that we're all honestly working better together. But I would imagine that as a technician, I get out there, I'm looking at my mobile app, I'm seeing what work plan I have. I say, oh no, this dryer smashed to bits, this isn't good. I would probably communicate back to the dispatcher or the feed or maybe even my manager at that point and say, hey, this dryer is broken. We need to probably order a replacement part. And so I would work with my sales team. I would work with the dispatcher to reschedule. But all that could be done within the platform with just communication in the feed. And then maybe it could be a flow as well. Maybe if that's a common occurrence of something's damaged, maybe you hit a button and then it automatically sends a notification to your manager, and then your manager takes up that part of the process. There's so many different ways we can do it. It really depends on how you want to do it. So I said configurable in the beginning, and I really meant that. So if I log in as a field sales manager, I can also see the KPIs related to me being a field sales manager. So work orders, status, appointments, helps me better manage my team. But I can also see things as a sales executive. So holistically, how everything is going with the close of business, our pipeline, our leadership board amongst our reps. This gives me a good pulse on what's happening, but also allows me to share the information pretty quickly because I can send these reports out. I can subscribe to them. I can do that on a daily cadence, a weekly cadence, so that everyone's kept up to speed with what's happening with the business. Under each dashboard tile, there is a report. And again, because all that information is within the platform, it's pretty easy to string together these reports and to really present the view that is really going to tell the story of what's happening. And so this is the way that we're able to leverage the information in the platform.